we're calling it like a romantic punk. So it's kind of punky here, but then it has romantic soft waves on this side. And the collection is quite tough. So I think the idea was to go with something that had a little toughness, but that also brought some romance and sweetness to the collection. And the tough part even has, it starts off with a twist, then it goes into a braid, then it goes into a twist again. So it's a little whimsical. It's not so hairdressery, tough look. Punk princess.
So it's a nod towards a punk princess, but it's all about a little sort of like black definition around the eye, and then we just do brushed up eyebrows, beautiful skin, everything's kept quite real. There's no real colour, it's just giving the girls great bone structure. That's kind of about it, really.
Well, Hervé Léger, is always associated with sensuality, glamour, and being unforgettable. Those women, when they walk in, your mouth drops. So this time I wanted to turn the knob a little bit and make her a little bit bolder, a little bit cooler, a little bit more alternative. So we really turned to music as an inspiration. And really, we listened to, believe it or not, punk. Art punk, different rock and roll, and we found actually one of the soundtrack for the runway show is from Peaches, which is considered to be very punky, very cool, very alternative band, and I think they're amazing. Anyway, so we wanted to take it a notch tougher, a notch cooler, a little bit more forward, and that's how the collection started evolving. We used a lot of jacquards. So you start off, the first look starts with striped jacquards, and they're kind of all like bandage. You almost mummify the body. And then kind of goes on to another type of jacquard, with fringe. There's so many different details. The newest technique I actually am excited about is we took silk chiffon, and then we kind of did a tunnel and put the bandage inside. So it's all ruched inside, and then we used that on garments, and it just looks heavenly. You'll see it. It's in the last 3 outfits, and there's a few in between.
Yeah, I wear it all the time. They took me in, they put me under their wing when I first started, so that was a big deal. I was very excited. They lined up a little rack, and that was the first one I went for, and it fit, because Hervé Léger always does.
We tried on a bunch of stuff, but I think I fell in love with this because it's the white is just so striking. This is just like a suit of armor, like it kind of wears you, and at the same time it's actually incredibly comfortable, and it's got a little bit of a rock and roll element, which is cool.
Something that people don't know about Hervé Léger, that it's really like knit. It's only knit that we use. We don't really use woven. So it's kind of like thinking, Missoni has their own look, but Missoni is mostly knit. Hervé Léger is as well. They look like they're woven dresses, but they're actually all knitted by panels, or we do individual bandages that are put together. So that's a huge difference between us and anybody else. Anything else that you see in that vein will probably be copies, not the original. So different techniques is what excites us about. I'm like a geek when it comes to, like, what can we do? What kind of jacquard, needle drop, all this, all the different knitting technique to me is what excites us about the collection. How can we push it to that next level?
I do love that it does honor the female form. There is an edge to it too, which I think is really cool, and a lot of texture. All this like detail, this beading, and when there's interesting textures and things, and so that'll be cool. I think too, fashion's something that you really experiment with over time, and as like I know for me, as I change as a person, the way that I want to show that on the outside, or the clothes that I want to wear, you grow up too, so you start to there's things you might have worn before that you just grow out of.
It molds to you, but it stands you up. Yeah, absolutely. It gives you everything you sort of need. It does everything for you. It's extreme, right? In all the greatest sense. It just is boom, Like I don't even like to wear any jewelry with it. It just stands on its own,
We're just inspired. I surround myself with people who are amazing designers who inspire me every day, and we have an amazing working team, and we just love what we do. I guess that's what makes us good.